So now we're going to go into some stuff with statistics overview. So the main part with statistics is all of the vocabulary. So let's go ahead and start with some very, very basic concepts. When you have statistics, the first thing you have is a population. Now, a population is an entire group of people. It's very difficult to survey everybody in a population. Therefore, you pick a representative sample. Now, you want to make sure that your sample is in fact representative of the whole population. So you try to factor in things like who is it that we're looking for if we're asking about, for example, businesses in Jebel Ali. The whole population would be businesses in Jebel Ali, and you might pick a sample of 62 of those businesses. All right, now from the sample, you gather data. Now your data falls under two categories. The first category is quantitative. And the second category is qualitative. Now, I want to go ahead and focus on two things. Quantitative has quant, which is quantity or numbers. Qualitative has qualities or words. So it's very easy to decide what is quantitative and what is qualitative. If you're asking the height of people in DMC, you would look at quantitative, meaning those are the numbers. If you're asking about what are people's favorite colors, you're looking at qualitative or words. So quantitative and qualitative. Now, the difficulty is that with quantitative, you've also got two major things. You've got discrete and you have continuous. Now, with discrete, you're looking at things that can only be whole numbers, such as the number of people in a family. You cannot have 3.3 people in a family. However, with continuous, you're looking at things that fall under a certain range. For example, if I ask how many people are 180 centimeters and we pull up everybody that's 180 centimeters, they will all have slightly different heights because it is a continuous measurement. So things like speed and height and weight are continuous. Things like the number of people in a house are discrete. So you've got a large population from where you get a sample. Your sample gives you data. That data can either be numbers or words, quantitative or qualitative, and if it is numbers, it falls as either discrete or continuous. And this is something dealing with the vocabulary for statistics. So now, let's go ahead and make it a little bit more interesting. We are now going to look at averages. Now, with averages, you've got two different things you're looking at. You're looking at central tendency and you're looking at dispersion. Now, central tendency has three main things that we look at. We look at the mean. And remember, in the calculator, the mean is written as x bar, the median, and the mode. The mean is also known as the average. That's where you take all of the numbers and you add them up. And then you divide by the numbers. So you start at the first number and you go to the end, and you divide by the number that you have in total. The median is the middle. That's where you take all the numbers and you add them up, or not add them up, you line them up from least to greatest and you pick the middle number. So if you have number 1, number 2, number 3, and you keep going on to number n, then your median would be the middle number. And then the mode is the most frequent number. It's the number that appears the most often. So this is measurements of central tendency. Now, measurements of dispersion are a little bit more difficult. You've got standard deviation, And on the calculator, it's written as sigma x. Then you have variance. And all that is it's the sigma squared. And then the last thing you have is the range. Now the range is where you take the largest number and subtract the smallest number. So central tendency measures what is in the middle, what's going on in the center. Dispersion measures what's going on the outside. So if you were to look at a bell curve, what you would find is the measurements of central tendency fall right in here, whereas the measurements of dispersion look at the whole graph. So that's two different ways of looking at it. Now the last thing that you need to know is how to find the best average for your data. So in order to find the best, so whenever you see that word, you know you're going to have to do this. You have to start by taking your data, right? And your data will be two things. We talked about this just a second ago. Your data will be quantitative or it'll be qualitative. Now remember, quantitative means that you're looking at numbers. And qualitative means you're looking at words. So if you're looking at words, it's very easy because the only choice that you have is the mode. But if you're looking at numbers, you could go two different ways. The first way that you could go is the mean. And the mean is if you have all normal things. But if you have an extreme, value, you will have to choose the median. So you have to answer, does it have an extreme? If the answer is yes, you choose the median. If there's no extreme, you choose the mean. And if it's words, you choose the mode. So this is basically everything that you need to know in order to be successful in your statistics exam.